complete the pass as easily as he would like to. Time back in. It was an official timeout.
8:40 left to play in the first half. Randolph with twice as many first downs as Rahway. They've got another from the 20-yard line. Beerles, the sophomore, tries to get outside, dragged down by Powell. Pick up maybe of a yard. We'll call it 2nd down and 9.
You'll notice that Randolph is just using everything they can with this misdirection offense. This counter and crossbuck pattern in the backfield opens a lot of things. Now here's a they really split out the Rahway secondary with this wide.
We've got 2 men split to both sides as Nardolillo's in the shotgun formation, and it's almost picked off. Powell knocked it in the air, and McQueen diving forward almost came up with the interception. Rahway's picked off 16 passes this year, Al.
Well, I'll tell you, Donnell Powell was looking for that same look-in, and he had a piece of it. Here it is just a look into Purtell. Nardolillo drops back, throws the look in, and there Powell had sniffed it out, was waiting for it, got his hands on it, but couldn't tuck it in. And that is a big play. If Randolph puts points on the board, that missed interception is going to be a big factor.
We have a flag thrown.
Flag on the play.
Not sure what the penalty is. They're signaling against Rahway.
That wide-angle shot shows us what interesting defense Rahway is playing. They're playing bump and run on those wideouts. They're putting 2 people on the center. Now, the center in the shotgun has got to snap the ball very hard and true to the quarterback. And most centers will have to look down between his legs to get that ball back to directly, unless he can do it automatically. So what Rahway does is they put 2 people right on that center, figuring he can't block both of them. Look at that.
Right.
You'll see in our shot, you'll see 2 men right on the center's nose. One of them is going to try to get through there.
They give it again to the short back, Beerles. Beerles gets close to a first down. It'll be 4th and about 1. That 5-yard penalty was the offside against Rahway. Craig Montgomery, a little over-anxious.
Brings up 4th and a long 1.
So it'll be 4th and a long 1.
Big defensive play here for Rahway. They've got to come up with a big defensive play.
Randolph has marched from its own 5 after taking over on downs. Ball is at the 11.
A shotgun. Short down situation, they shotgun.
Nardolillo fires, incomplete for Beerles. Beerles had the first down had he caught the ball, but I think he might have heard some steps out. Lance Thomas, Derek Suggs were out there. If he caught it, he had the first down, but I think he might have heard some steps.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm surprised at this formation in this situation. 4th and short, and here it is. Could have had it. He had the first down. There's the stripe he had to cross, and just ran without the ball. 2 Rahway defenders there to make the hit. And Rahway has done what they had to do. They had to come up with a big defensive play. Now they take over on their own 10-yard line.
I'll mark it at the 11. Granby gets his first call of the day, and Granby's hit behind the line of scrimmage. Paul Hune, number 15, a junior, making the stop. Loss on the play of about a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Granby, the fullback, moved into the starting lineup when they changed their offense around. Initially, it was Corey Baker starting at tailback with Powell as the fullback. They run out of the eye, and you've got to get the tailback a lot of action, and Powell was moved back to the tailback position, and Granby came in as the fullback. Denson will throw, firing downfield, has a man open, and he's got it. Bill Carter could go all the way. The race is on, and no one's going to catch Bill Carter.
Getting a big play. They have a big play offense. They have the potential and the talent to do that kind of thing, throw the pass. They fake the handoff to Powell. We had a little sprint out by Denson, and Randolph went for the interception. Let's take a look. Both backs over there for Randolph go for the ball, and when they don't get it, that's 6 points. You'll see Bill Carter leg it all the way in, chased by 3 Randolph defenders, but too late. Those points can be registered on the Rahway side.
Ironically, Marty Denson's not considered to be a great passer, but he got the ball out, about 40 yards. Carter hauled it in and took it the rest of the way on a 90-yard touchdown pass. Dan Andren on for the extra point.
It's a fake.
Denson rolling out, fires, and it's good.
And Rahway comes up with the razzle-dazzle. Who caught that pass, Matt?
As soon as I know, I'll let you know.
Number 80.
Kevin Dallas, the backup tight end.
So, because it was in the far end of the end zone, and I'll tell you, he must have had his feet just in the end line. But it was a great job by Denson. Was it Denson that they brought in as the holder?
Denson's the holder.
He came out, and his primary man was covered. The flat receiver out in the flat was covered. Denson looked over the field and saw Carter by himself. Or rather, Dallas by himself at the back of the end zone, got the ball to him, and really has shocked this Randolph club 8-0 with 6 minutes left in the ball in the half.
6:06 showing on the scoreboard clock. Rahway leading by a score of 8-0. There's John Bauer Sr. on the sideline, his team trailing. Randolph, the defending North Jersey Section 2 Group 3 champs, 10-1 in their last 2 years. They lost in the final 2 seasons ago, captured the championship last year. They're 7-1 this year. Andren making an adjustment to his kicking shoe. He's one of 3 players from Winfield. Of course, Winfield, ascending district to Rahway.
The Winfield Park native, Andren, teeing up the ball. Didn't get a chance to show his wares. There was a shot of Kevin Dallas on the sideline. Didn't get a chance to show his wares on the extra point. Now we're going to see him kick off for this Rahway Indian Club. And they're fired up right now. Their coach, Ed Yergalonis, a very enthusiastic guy. Had a long talk with him before the game. Very, very up about this whole program, this game, and the fact that they got an opportunity to play a club that isn't bigger than they are for the first time all day.
Sandler takes the kickoff, slips and falls as he crosses the 30-yard line. So good field position for Randolph. 6:01 left to play in the first half. At halftime, we will have the Rahway band performing for us, and we invite you to stay tuned for that.
I was saying, Matt, that Ed Yergalonis was saying that this is the first game all year that his kids are going to line up against a club that's not as big as they are. They have been playing teams that are bigger physically all year, and they were very, very excited about the opportunity they had today. And so far, they really have shown themselves to be up to the task of getting by this first round of the playoffs.
Trips thrown to the left side. Beerles, the only man in the backfield, gets the handoff, and Beerles gets up across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. That Rahway scoring drive, just 2 plays, 89 yards. And Carter catching the 90-yard touchdown pass because the ball was marked originally at the 11, 1-yard loss on the running play.
So the math is right. Correct. Okay, let's see now. Randolph with 5 minutes left now has got a lot of yardage to go. They may start throwing the ball. It may be an opportunity for this opportunistic defense. Timeout is called. They didn't like the way Rahway had lined up defensively. But I started to say that this is the opportunity that the Rahway defense should grasp now. They've got Rahway in a situation where they might want to throw the ball. They may not have the kind of running game to eat up this yardage. They're about 60 yards from the goal line, and 64 yards from the goal line, and they're not sure they can make it on the ground. They're going to have to throw the ball. It's going to be an opportunity for this Rahway defense to pick off an interception.
Here's Bill Carter, who caught that 90-yard touchdown pass to give Rahway the lead. Rahway comes into this playoff. They were seeded number 2. And the other matchup is the number 1 ranked Morris Hills Club taking on Montville, who was seeded 3. As we mentioned, Rahway was seeded 2 and Randolph seeded 4. The winners will meet on the weekend of December 1st. And the winner will come away with the North Jersey Section 2 Group 3 crown. Should Randolph win here and Morris Hills win here, it'll be a repeat of a game that took place 2 weeks ago in which Morris Hills came away with a 20-9 win. Randolph, of course, defending champion, would like to get there. They're down 8-0. Twin receivers to both sides. They go to Beerles again up the middle. And Beerles is pulled down by Lance Thomas. Excuse me, that was not Thomas. That was Jerome Laduna, 6'4". Junior that they list at 310 pounds.
And I'll tell you something, Laduna just reached over the guard that was supposed to trap him and kick him out. He just stood his ground, reached over the blocker, and grabbed the ball carrier and threw him on the ground. Said, that one isn't going to work today. There he is.
Third player up from that row. That's at the right-hand part of your screen. Nardolillo to the air, looking for Sandler, and it's tipped away. Sandler had his hand on it. Kurt Kuntz was out on the coverage. Sandler tipped the ball in the air, and it fell incomplete. There's a flag down, though, Al.
Yeah,
take a look at the replay.
Looks like it's against Rahway, but let's look at the replay. Both players looking into the sun. Nardolillo throwing up a jump ball because both kids were there. The ball gets tapped up. And let's see what they're calling here. It looks like a
big penalty marked off against the Indians.
Wow, these are the kind of things that can really hurt you.
Holding called against Rahway.
We mentioned that the Rahway cornerbacks are playing bump and run. There's Ed Yergalonis registering his appreciation of the call. But the Rahway backs are playing bump and run on the line of scrimmage against this shotgun, figuring that they'll slow down the receivers and give the linemen a chance to get at the quarterback.
The Rahway penalized now 3 times in the game from the shotgun again. Nardolillo goes to the air and has Rick Purtell. Marty Denson bringing Purtell down. Purtell's caught the ball coming into this game 25 times for an average of 12 yards a catch, the second leading receiver on the team.
Let's take a look. Rahway comes with a blitz now. They got a little pressure on Nardolillo right here. And they hook up that look-in pass to Purtell. One they like to throw from there.
2nd down and 5. From the 43, Nardolillo goes to the air. Ooh, Lance Thomas had it in his hands. He was thinking 6 rather than the interception. And he's upset with himself.
Cardinal was the intended receiver that time on the same play, only to the other side. Here you see Nardolillo throwing. He looked to his left, came to the right, and Thomas was right there in his hands. He'll think about that one all night. It'll hurt if Rahway loses. It won't hurt that pad if Rahway wins. 3rd and about 5. 3 minutes and 28 seconds left in the half.
Nardolillo 3 for 6 on the day. Will go to the air for his 7th time. Looking for Gogarty. Oh, in and out of his hands. That bounced right off him. He had beaten Corey Baker, and Gogarty distraught in the end zone because he had a touchdown had he held on.
Corey Baker was there, but then he got beat when he started looking for the ball. The ball was laid right on the fingertips by Nardolillo. What a job. Watch this pass. It comes right here to his fingertips. And right through his hands is really a shame for Randolph. We should have had at least an 8-6 ball game, depending on what the extra point would have done. That should have been a touchdown. Lucky break for Rahway. Rahway's calling timeout now.
Well, Rahway's calling time because Nardolillo is back in the shotgun position, but Nardolillo is not the punter. It's 4th down and about 5. The ball's at the 43. So Rahway had no one back to receive a punt because Nardolillo's the quarterback, and they just weren't sure whether he might get a quick kickoff or what. So they want to discuss what's going on. Upcoming on the TV3 Action Arena, excuse me, Al, of course, we have Scoreboard this Thanksgiving. 4 o'clock, though, different time. Normally, we bring you Scoreboard on Saturday evenings at 7, but we all want to go home and have a Thanksgiving dinner. So late in the afternoon at 4 o'clock on Thursday, we invite you to tune your converter box to TV3 and catch all the scores of all the games with highlights and, of course, our top 10 poll, and we'll have interviews and good show, Scoreboard. And, of course, we'll have our high school football doubleheaders, a couple of traditional games this year. There aren't too many left. Linden against Union will be our first game. Thursday at 5 o'clock, you can catch all the action, and again Friday afternoon at 4. And then the other half of our doubleheader, Roselle and Roselle Park. Thursday at 7 p.m., Friday at 2, coming your way on TV3. And as I said, Al, there aren't too many of those traditional Thanksgiving Day games left. The Plainfield, Westfield still exist, East Orange and Barringer, but they are few and far between anymore.
They sure are, and those two are both traditions that go back a long time.
They do indeed. Perth Amboy Carteret, another long-time Thanksgiving Day game that is still intact.
I think Roseau Park is the second oldest in the state.
Blitz is on. Nardolillo gets away from it. And Nardolillo is close to a first down. We'll have to see where they mark it. Good job by Greg Nardolillo of eluding the pressure that Rahway had put on him. And then faking left and right and trying to pick up a first down. And we're going to have a timeout for a measurement. 3:02 left to play in the first half.
Nardolillo here steps up between two blitzers. Watch this. He straightens up, he sees the blitz, he steps between them. There they are, two Rahway guys going by. He spins out. This is a kid with a bad knee, had an operation, fights his way and gets a first down. And I'll tell you, if Rahway scores, if Randolph scores on this series, it's because of that kid, Nardolillo. He is playing a ball game out there.
You mentioned it, Al, at the top of the telecast, that he's considered the heart of this team by Coach John Bauer. And there's a reason why. If that doesn't give the offense a lift, nothing much will. Nardolillo has carried the ball 3 times for 28 yards, almost 10 yards per carry. From the 38. Just enough for a first down. Nardolillo going deep for Sandler. Denson on the coverage, and Sandler makes the catch at the 6-yard line.
Denson was down the sideline with him, turned around too early, put his hand up, but he wasn't in a position to make the interception. Let's take a look. Nardolillo straight back, throws a bomb here, up the sideline. You'll see Denson just turns, and when he turns, he takes himself out of position as the ball is completed. And here's Randolph knocking on the doorstep at the 6-yard line.
2:39 left to play in the first half. Rahway leading 8-0. Gogarty goes in motion. The pitch goes to Sandler. Sandler puts his head down and gets inside the 5. Denson came up from the quarterback spot to give him a pop. Pickup of about 1.5 yards, maybe. 2nd and goal from just inside the 5.
1.5 yards, so it'll be 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line.
Rahway, 5 shutouts this year, 4 to start the season. They've also shut out Irvington. They've only given up an average of 7 points per ball game. Gogarty again in motion. They'll go to Beerles up the middle, and the sophomore is close. He is not in. It'll be 3rd and short.
Center of the Rahway line.
3rd and less than the length of the football.
Watch Beerles run right under the Rahway defense. Right there, right underneath some of those up front big linemen. Almost gets it to the goal line.
John Bauer says Beerles is really a halfback playing the fullback position. He's not big, 5'9", 160 pounds. He's the lone setback. Nardolillo will take it himself, and Nardolillo is in.
Now let's see what Randolph wants to do. Do they want to go for 2 and make it a tie? Or do they have that kind of confidence in their offense? They'll just kick the extra point and figure they're going to score again this afternoon. There's a surge of that Randolph line straight ahead. Nardolillo twists his way in for the touchdown.
They're going to go for 2. Nardolillo will be in shotgun formation. 3 receivers to the left side, 1 to the right side. Nardolillo fires, incomplete, looking for Purtell. The short man who was just in the end zone. It went through his hands, incomplete. So the attempt at 2 fails, and Rahway, with 1 minute and 22 seconds left to play in the first half, has a 2-point lead.
Very interesting, the decision. There's John Bauer, the venerable coach at Randolph. A very, very interesting character.
He really is.
John Bauer. Really, he's been around a long time. He says things like, gee, if I had a 220-pound tackle, I wouldn't know what to do with him. We've never had him. I pray for anybody over 200 pounds.
He was funny the other day. I was collecting a roster from him, and he pulled out an old roster, and he didn't realize at the time. So he says, well, I can't give you this anyway because Because you'd find me out. He goes, none of these weights are accurate. He goes, we got to pump the boys up a little bit. He goes, I get parents who come to me all the time and say, how come Johnny is listed at 173 when I only know he weighs 145? He says, I tell him I don't get involved in that. Emily in the middle of that group back deep. It's a short kick. That's a loose ball. Lee will pick it up at about his 13, and he gets across the 15 up to about the 17. Randolph scoring drive, 10 plays and 66 yards. Nartalillo with the 1-yard run for the score. Of course, their 2-point pass attempt was no good. And so it's 8-6 in favor of Rahway. And would you say the Indians would be conservative here in the last minute and 16 seconds, Al?
I think we'll see 3 running plays.
And let's go into the locker room with a 2-point lead.
Never know, though.
I formation. McQueen out to the near side. Loose ball, and Powell falls on it. Granby was popped, and the ball came free, and boy, that was a dangerous situation for Rahway. They give up the ball there, and they could be down at the half.
It's a darn good thing. Here's the handoff. You'll see contact right here at the ball. Helmet right into the football. Billy Banks on the pop, and it's a good thing that Powell was behind Granby on that handoff. Otherwise, that ball would have been Randolph's because there's nobody else there.
2nd and 15 on the 5-yard loss. Denson on the quick snap and a keep. And I don't think he told anybody but the center what to really go on because everyone else just stayed still.
Well, Rahway wants to go in with that 8-6 lead and capitalize on it, make a few adjustments. They've played very, very well.
5 seconds left in the first half. That was a 5-yard pickup for Denson, and they'll just let the clock run out. And there's the gun that indicates the end of the first half. So, touchdown pass of 90 yards from Marty Denson to Bill Carter, and a 2-point pass from Denson to Kevin Dallas. Countered by a 1-yard run by Nartalillo. Countered somewhat because they failed in their 2-point try. So Rahway leads by 2 going in at the half. When we come back, we'll have the halftime performance by the Rahway High School Marching Indians, and we invite you to stay with us for that show. In terms of total offense, it's about the same, and I guess it kind of reflects the way this ball game has gone.
Well, you'll see that the total yards are very, very close. The offensive plays are unbalanced in Randolph's side of the ledger, but that's because of that late first half drive that brought them a long way, aided by a 15-yard holding penalty. And a great deal of plays during that drive had given them those 6 points they have up on the board. There's one of our stars, Billy Carter, over there on the Rahway sideline. There's his 90-yard average for today. 1 TD, 1 catch for 90 yards with a 90-yard average. That's not bad. We had a great time here at halftime with the refreshments that were provided for us by the Rahway Sideliners Club, an organization that's very, very active and very effective here. Bob Paulhemus, the president, Janet Walker, Dinah Gable, Tom May, Ralph Smith, Bill Hoodzow, who is also a member of the Board of Education, is very, very congenial here for us. And Ralph Smith, the announcer, has been around Rahway for a great deal of time.
1924 played for Rahway High School.
1924 played at Rahway, and all these gentlemen and ladies are very, very good to us, have treated us very, very well. And we really enjoy coming here every year. 4th year as head coach for Eric Alonis, 24 wins, 12 losses, 1 tie. 3 of those years at Denellen.
Right, this is his first year at Rahway. The last 3 years he was at Denellen. And as we said, a successful head coach of the Denellen Destroyers. Last year they lost in the final of Central Jersey Group 1 play to South River, and they were 8-3. Rahway currently in 2nd place in the Watchung Conference with the 6-2 mark. Cranford, which will play Rahway at Cranford on Thanksgiving, is 5-3. And they're in 3rd place in the conference. And there are several Cranford players here sitting in the stands. I saw Ed Trankina, their head coach, earlier. He's out here scouting.
Well, let's see now, the wind has been blowing from left to right. I hadn't mentioned it. It's kind of coming catty corner from one corner of the end zone across to the other corner rather than coming straight across goalpost to goalpost. But it is left to right, which means that Randolph will have the wind to their backs. And the wind has been a factor.